new person to our couch on the show and on television actually in Ghana. SCOFRAY Nana YEBOAH is the author of motivational and a motivational speaker. He's an author and a motivational speaker. Now this morning at his age, can you imagine how much wisdom this guy has? And he's so lucky to have won a Made in Ghana fabric. Is this Made in Ghana at all?
Well,
or is it a China one?
I can't tell.
You know some of them come from China.
That's true.
Is yours coming from China?
No.
All right. So I know people who do adverts and they go like American products, Chinese prices. I find it very difficult to get to understand what exactly they mean, but I know it to one extent. Today we're actually talking about the art of life. Not now until we have done a few of the text messages we have received this morning. This one says, Rashida, the festival, I won't even go. Oh my God, why won't you go? And another one says, Rashida, good morning to you. This is your style, dear. Is that what? I will even talk about it. Let me adjust it. It's coming from Mom once. Other one says, good morning to you, Rashida. I'm enjoying the show this morning. You're really light today. I say I'm usually rigid. Other one says, good morning to you, Rashida. Where and when is the festival going to be taking place so we could be there? Well, the venue, Men's Vic, and it starts on the 30th of June until July 7th. Right. SCOFRAY, you're welcome to the studio once again.
Thank you very much for having me.
You know, you're welcome. When they say the art of life, I would want to believe it encompasses just a whole lot. And try not to get ambiguous on the second perspective this morning. We're trying to assess relationships with regard to family systems. Do you think we have drifted away and thinking only nuclear, like people said to me before, prior to this interview?
We have indeed drifted away, and the pace we are even drifting is where the scare is where the worry and the warning is. Many a times when you want to address the issue of relationship, we are quick to look at the sensational and sentimental aspect of it, but we forget that right from that moment, you go into the bigger frame of family or society. So if you read The Art of Life, its definition in the chapter 1 about the lane of love and the lane of fear, it gives you the true meaning and understanding of even the love you're supposedly professing. It's not just that emotional sentiment that you experience or you experiment. So if you put it vis-a-vis to our normal life today and throwing away our extended family, you can never even be nucleus if you claim you don't want to deal with the extended, because you are part of somebody's extended. First of all, your nucleus is a part of another extension. So you are not even a nucleus. It is the word, it is the definition we've given to the nucleus that is creating the bigger problems for us today. Because I'm SCOFRAY, I have a father. My father had a father. Yeah. My father's father had a father. Sure. And the same way in the maternal aspect. So you cannot
Adam didn't have a father.
Oh, well, he had a creator as well. Right. So he even had a father. Sure. So we should begin to redefine what we even mean by nucleus. Because you are not an island. You were not just out of the boom and you came onto the earth. You belong somewhere. So the pace that we are traveling on separating ourselves from the extended family, it is the danger that I see and foresee.
I mean, I bet you agree with me on the fact that there's supposed to be a sense of belonging, but it comes in various quantums, I like to say. Hence the pronouncements of the nuclear. Don't you think so?
Yes, it is, and I agree with you. I agree with you to a particular extent, to a degree, like you said. You see, we are individuals, first of all. Even if I belong to a family, I am an individual. And the individuality and its immediate correspondence is what we term as nucleus. When I choose to pick things that I can easily relate to in my own way and understanding, that is where we term it nucleus. But when that nucleus is set up, you forget that an individual out of your nucleus will also have to form another nucleus. So it becomes sets of nucleus, and this set of nucleus is what we term the extended family or the extension of the families we have. But the moment the foundation, the understanding of being nucleus, if it is not to interrelate or if it is not to be in the chain of that family system, that is where the danger is.
But seriously, when we talk about the extended family, what exactly do people mean when they say an extended family has been ignored and there's a concentration on the nuclear family? Practically, mustn't it be so?
Practically, the two should rather be the case.
Right.
Because, like I said, I am not an island and I'm not living in isolation. The fact that I have a wife and a child or children does not make me extended. Don't forget, you being a father to your child, you are also a child to your parents. You are a sibling to you are a brother or a sister to your siblings. So you cannot deviate and claim that because I have my life and I want to live it the way I want, I want to be independent that much. Now, when your wife passes away, do you conduct the funeral alone? When you give birth, do you conduct the naming ceremony alone? When calamity befalls you, do you mourn alone? When you have excitement, do you take it alone? This is the aspect of the extension we are referring to, or the extended family we are referring to. No one can best love you than your own. No matter how you take it, no one can best love you than your own. So the moment we become that centered, that nucleus center, that it is me, myself, and I, where I say the me is you, the I is your children, and yourself will be your wife, and that forms that. But you forget that you are not living alone. You are not an island.
I bet so many men who might be listening to us this morning, usually pronouncements that would come from men who say, well, but you would attest to the fact also that the extended family sometimes is just a huge burden. Hence, sometimes the lack of, I won't call it the lack of care, but the slight drift away towards a concentration and a better concentration onto the nuclear one. Don't you think?
To some extent, I'll agree to that. But you, the person, can you say for a fact that nobody in your family had an effect on your life, positively or negatively? Can you say that for a fact? Or even if it's not a family, wasn't there a friend, a mentor, somebody who played a major role in your life to get to where you are today, and you want to go like where it might not even be a bigger support, but maybe you were so thirsty, you thirst for water, so when somebody gave you a cup of water, that person at the moment becomes an extended part of your life. So if we look at it that because it comes a lot of burden, if everybody is playing a role in the extended family, there will be no burden.
Right.
If everybody is holding a piece of that family, there will be no burden.
But I mean, we have to also put this in context and perspective. For so many people, in trying not to make people mourn alone or celebrate alone, it's just a social human reaction that does not make a difference. For instance, in the outside world, I mean, in foreign lands, they strictly practice the nuclear family system, yet they are very much developed faster than us, don't you think?
I agree 100%. And I think Offset, I was discussing this with
you can't
Thomas.
even visit a brother. I think in Ghana, it's slightly mild. You could just knock on the brother's door or his sister's door. But there, not even your mother will be able to visit you, whether single or double.
Rush, we are at a very fast pace adapting that system of living. And as a matter of fact, research have proven that societies that are not built upon family understanding and communityhood today are in chaos. If you check the foreign world that we are making example with, look at what happens. A child wakes up one morning, I'm angry, goes to the classroom, pick a gun, kill his classmates. For about 2-3 years ago, we were hearing this news all over. Because the bonding is not there, and the focus and understanding of individuality is preceding over an extended family, people feel mostly alone. And we think that they are only imbibing the act of the nucleus family. No. They will tell you, they wish. One of the trainers who molded me to what I am today, Dr. Colonna Isis Fugwa, she said that what we are throwing away at a very fast pace, others are trying to learn it. Others are trying to see that, no, let's see how we can come together, because it is when we come together, we have a stronger bargaining power. It is then that I can relate to you better and better. So,
but killing can happen anywhere, whether extended or within the nuclear family, because people kill their children.
people kill their children.
People kill their wives. Which is more serious
let's look at the rate those things happen. How many times would you hear in the African setting that a young guy of 15 years or 12-year old says that I'm so angry, pick a gun, kill 18 of classmates, kill 15 of classmates. It is rampant. Look at what happened recently in Norway. You see, you only hear those stories. Yes, death and the act of wickedness will prevail in every society, but the pace and the rate. This is when we begin to detach ourselves from that belonging, that bonding. It is there that when you have an issue, you think you are alone.
I think that there can be a contrary reaction to this. Is that to suggest that this happened because they did not preserve well their extended family systems?
Absolutely. Many people.
What difference would it have made?
You see, when I have issue,
right?
When I have challenges, like in a natural traditional setting, there were days that when you have an issue and you approach the head of your clan, okay, they say, okay, this particular son or daughter of ours have an issue. They put together elders, they put together people to bring their wisdom to bear, to see how best they can support you. There were days that families will sponsor their own to go to school. At least we should also have a lawyer in our midst. We should have an engineer. There were days that they were doing all these things. But all of a sudden,
the concentration is on children.
It's me. And there are many homes today that if you ask the child, where do you come from? The child can be able to mention where he or she is coming from. But let him give you, or let her give you, names of cousins. It is those within her neighborhood that she can make mention of. There is a station that conducted a survey, and there are kids growing up who cannot speak their mother tongue.
Well, it's been an issue lately in our society, but for so many people, they keep saying, well, if you teach the child, many people speak English to their kids at home because they would want them to do well in English, because, I mean, English rules now. We can't deny that. There are so many people who might be empty, but the mere pronouncement of, I call it the verbal diarrhea, they are accorded that respect anyone else could just get. I mean, I would want to believe this informs why many parents speak English to their children, because you would have to speak it well. It's spoken. And with regard to the local dialect, whether we like it or not, we'll speak it one day. I didn't say a thing in as a 2001, but I mean, I can speak it now.
But Rashida, you see, when you are copying something, do copy it well. When you look at the Latinos in the Latin Americas, when you look at the Asians, when you look at the Jews, no matter where they find themselves, no matter how well they bring you up or they train you, the bilingual franca of that particular country rather becomes second nature to your mother dialect. That is not happening in my country.
Right. Does that make it right?
That is very wrong. Your language or the way you are brought up is part of your identity. It gives you that beautiful self-esteem. You can't tell me that I can speak English better than the Queen herself. That is her dialect. That is the only language she will know. Anything else she will speak is something she will learn. Unlike me.
And I would like to believe that's what happens. Many people over here in Ghana can speak it much better than the Queen.
Fine, but look at, let the person begin to speak Twi, and you will wonder what are you more an English than a Ghanaian or an African? You see, so if you let go of all this extended system, imagine a child brought up in a family home, an extended family. People are learning other dialect because there are friends who lived in the Zongo and they've learned Hausa and even gone ahead to learn other dialect that is found in that community. Others have found themselves in Accra and they are learning Ghana. And they even speak it so well. And they are not bankrupt when it comes to the ability to relate to the larger community.
Right.
So the extended family is very, very, very important. The earlier revive, the better.
And even plays a role when it comes to the talk. The dialect, very important. Well, I'm yet to see who speaks it better than the Queen anyway. Why not, if we have pronounced it the Elizabethan language? let me get to see you, and I'll present you to the queen to give her all of the phonetics. We're going for a break. This is getting more interesting. The reason why we should speak our own dialect. And be prepared. The second half of the show is going to be presented in Dagbani by moi. We'll be right back. The art of life. The art of life. Is life an art at all?
Life is definitely an art.
What makes it an art? That has to be mastered, right?
It is an art that must be mastered, because if you realize life evolves, and anything that is a process is an art. Anything that goes through a process.
It's got to be dynamic as well.
That is it. It's an art. And the book actually, like the states, Mastering Tools for Living. If you read Art of Life and you come across a love and you think it's sensational, then you've not read it well. If you read The Art of Life and you come across identifying your personality, that breaking the domesticated environment you find yourself in. As a matter of fact, our lives have been this way because of how we created.
Right.
We've created a lot of, there's a part that talks about the court system. Our daily life is like a court system. There's a part that, Rash, you are the victim. And at that time you are the judge himself, and at that time you are even the law. So you are like a court system, and that's what the Art of Life gives you. We must get to the point, like the way we are handling our extended family, and we are craving for it to work. If we don't understand that at one point the extended family is the judge, you become the victim. And at that point you become the judge, the family become the victim, and at that point you all become the rules that you are governed with. So we must be able to live in a way that will seek the welfare of everybody. We might not have it smoothly, but I've been saying, there's a prayer in the book, and it says that, can you imagine creating the supposed heaven on earth? It's not a mirage. It's not impossible. But it must start, and it must emanate from you first. Your intrinsic values must create that environment for you. If you consider the victim, or the rule of the laws that is governing the court system, you create them. You create them, and when they begin to remind you of yourself, then you find yourself wanting. Like the belief system we have, the things that are abomination in the southern sector of my country. If you go to the north, it isn't.
Such as
you understand? I recently read something.
I think it should be, the other way around. Things that are supposed to be an abomination in the north
Could also be.
They're not in the south sometimes.
That's what I'm saying. So